Should we start with Star Wars?
Yeah, let's talk about Battlefront. What did we see?
We saw the first actual gameplay.
Yeah.
And of course, before the show, they teased this Hoth image, so it was a Battle of Hoth. And man, I thought Shadows of the Empire had the best Hoth level, but I haven't even played this yet, and I'm going to have to put it up there.
Max, is this what you saw at Star Wars Celebration?
No, so what I saw at Star Wars Celebration was kind of a similar bit chunk of gameplay, but it was from Endor. So we had speeder bikes and stuff. There were still AT-ATs and chicken walkers, going around, but it was entirely different layout. It's nice to see that the level of faithfulness that I saw there is carried over to this.
That's exactly right. That's what really jumped out at me. I mean, I like Star Wars as much as the next guy, but I'm not a crazy Star Wars super fan. But what really jumped out at me here was that level of authenticity and attention to detail. And it sort of sounds like marketing speak, but it really comes through when the TIE fighters are soaring overhead. That sound design, that visual design, they're using a technique where the team at DICE is not just like building an X-Wing. They're taking the actual X-Wing model that was in the actual movie, and they're putting that in the game. So it's like those little tiny details that really give it that sort of authentic Star Wars feel absolutely shine through in a way that I maybe didn't necessarily anticipate or expect.
Yeah, I think the sounds are really like that's kind of it. That's all. It just sounds like Ben Burtt's noises and the level of like the klaxons going off and the blasters and all that.
That weird like TIE fighter whine and like the sweeping music. Like it all just instantly transports you there.
Which sounds like a car full of drunk girls driving by.
There's little details like when a blaster hits the wall, like the little sparks shoot out, and it almost looks like a practical effect like that was on a movie set.
Yeah.
And the way that everyone runs is a little bit goofy, but it looks exactly like the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, in the movie. I love the Star Destroyer hovering in the sky.
Yeah. It's great.
Now, has there been another game where you play an AT-AT? I don't know. This is the first time?
I don't think so.
I can't think of...
Not in any other Battlefront.
Star Wars games.
Was it in the previous Battlefront?
Maybe in the previous Battlefront.
I mean, I think that combination of vehicle gameplay and on-foot gameplay is, I mean, that's really at the heart of, we know that DICE can execute on that kind of vision. That's their sort of pedigree. And to sort of apply that to Star Wars to give the game this epic feel, I don't know if they're really talking about how, like if it's just first come, like if you happen to get at the AT-AT first, it's yours. There'll be gigantic fights
I wonder if that was
thing.
like in Battlefield, it's the helicopter. Everyone wants the helicopter right away.
One thing I think is DICE is kind of, I think the kind of earlier Battlefield games are they're tough, like they're kind of unforgiving, and it could be like if you're not immediately good at what you're doing, you don't get to fly a jet fighter or a helicopter or whatever. I think with Hardline, which was obviously visceral, but they worked on that too, it was much more of that kind of Titanfall approach of like, let everybody drive the thing. Yeah. And I'm getting a lot of that vibe from this too, where it's just kind of like, it looks like a lot of people playing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like some people are I mean, obviously this is pretty staged, but...
Yeah. I mean, it is a balancing act between you don't want to feel useless or like you're cannon fodder when you're on foot, but you also don't want to be too OP and able to take down AT-ATs and TIE fighters and stuff like that just with your blaster. Really, another EA game, Titanfall, really got that balance correct. So it is totally possible to balance sort of feeling very powerful in a big hulking vehicle and still feel like you're making contributions to your team when you're on foot. We'll have to play for ourselves to see whether Battlefront really nails that, but it's obviously something that's on their mind.
This sounds weird, but I'm kind of looking forward to running up and trying to shoot an AT-AT and then just squashes you. Like, that's pretty cool, right?
I mean, I think one thing that I was a little bit worried about, it's a double-edged sword being focused on the original trilogy. One, that's what everyone has nostalgia for, that's what everyone loves, but we've also seen it a lot. I mean, we were joking in the pre-show that we've seen the Battle of Hoth 10 times in video games, but it still feels, I mean, it looks fresh and new, and maybe it's just been long enough. Like
we've never seen it this good.
No, certainly not.
Look this good.
Yeah, I think that the Titanfall comparison is really good here, and I know that some people kind of were disappointed by Titanfall because the fact that it was strictly online kind of made it run out of stuff to do.
This is really good.
Yeah, but
so how do you guys feel about this?
Yeah,
it's awesome, right? Like we still don't really have details about how these heroes, like how do you become one of them, or is it just maybe it's like it's like a kill streak in Call of Duty possibly? Then you can just sort of inhabit Luke for a while. But like what a incredible sort of smart way to bring these iconic characters into these iconic moments from the film, and they are fudging the canon a little bit by
having this part here?
having Boba.
The popular scene from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, you get Boba Fett on
special
Hoth.
edition.
Why not? But that's awesome, right? Like then you can kind of have your cake and eat it too, where be a member of the canon fodder, but you also maybe get some opportunities to be Luke or Darth Vader.
Yeah, I kind of want to know what the extent of their powers are. Like, can Luke just go up and just like blast down a walker with the Force or something? I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
They did mention that there's also going to be solo missions. you can take on by yourself.
If you don't want to play online, you can just play against AI or something.
And they're going to have local split screen.
It's awesome.
That sounds awesome.